From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Sunday bestowed the Presidential Medal of Merit to 4 female icons who have exceptionally shaped the nation's culture in their respective disciplines and showcased the best of Filipino talent in music, cinema, television, and culinary recipes worldwide. In a ceremonial program at Malacañang Palace, President Marcos Jr. gave the posthumous awards to Nora Honor, Pilita Corrales, Gloria Romero, and Margarita Araneta Flores. In his speech, the President said, the awardees' legacy lies not only in the accolades they earned, but in how they used their talent to shape the country's collective identity. President Marcos likewise thanked the families of the awardees for allowing the nation to be part of their legacies. The chief executive reminded Filipinos that art and culture are not just echoes of the past, but vital elements of the national identity that continue to inspire the future. National Artist for Film and Broadcast Arts Nora Honor, or Nora Cabaltera Villamayor, the country's superstar who excelled in both acting and singing that earned multiple awards and accolades globally, was laid to rest at the Libingan ng mga Bayani on April 22nd. This was also a day of national mourning declared by the President. Pilita Corrales, or Pilar Garrido Corrales, also known as Asia's Queen of Songs, had more than 135 albums recorded in various languages such as Filipino, English, Spanish, and Cebuano. She passed away on April 12th at the age of 87. Gloria Romero, or Gloria Ann Borrego Gallia, a veteran actress touted as the Queen of Philippine cinema, won multiple acting awards during her more than 70-year career. She passed away on January 25th this year at the age of 91. Margarita Araneta Flores, who was named Asia's Best Female Chef in 2016, was an acclaimed restaurateur who founded the Chibo chain of restaurants. She was posthumously recognized by the world's 50 best restaurants for her contributions to the culinary community. The Presidential Merit Award is one of the highest honors conferred by the President of the Philippines to individuals in recognition of their contributions to nation building.
These women, they illuminated our consciousness. They taught us who we are and who we could become. So to the families of the awardees, thank you for sharing them with us. What they contributed to the country cannot even be realized and certainly cannot be paid back. But we will remember and we will pass it on. Sa ating mga kababayan, naway paalala sa atin ng gabing ito na ang sining at kultura ay hindi lamang bahagi ng ating mga nakaraan. Hinuhubog din natin ito ang ating pagkakakilanlan at nagbibigay inspirasyon sa ating patungo sa mas maunlad na kinabukasan. To Gloria, to Margarita, to Pilita, to Nora, it seems very little, but the best we can do. Maraming salamat po. You live on in every artist who takes the risk, in every child who has fond dreams, in every citizen who wishes to let the world know what it means to be a Filipino.
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. over the weekend said the government is steadily laying the groundwork to strengthen the Philippine economy and attract major investors and industrial projects to the country. Speaking at the Alianza campaign rally at the Batangas Sports Coliseum in Batangas City, the president reported concrete results from the government's economic strategy, citing entry of trillions of pesos in investments. President Marcos credited Department of Finance or DOF Secretary Ralph Recto, who hails from Batangas Province, for his efforts in creating policies to attract foreign and domestic investors. The chief executive also highlighted the administration's efforts to address long-standing issues in the agricultural sector, especially in supporting farmers and stabilizing food prices, as well as his administration's commitment to inclusive economic development. The Alianza rally in Batangas Province was the fifth and final leg of the party's campaign sortie in Calabarzon or Region 4A, which groups the provinces of Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Rizal, and Quezon.
Kaya naman po, dahan-dahan makikita natin, pinaghahanda po natin ang ating ekonomiya upang lumago, upang lumakas, at lahat po ng maaring gawin upang dalhin po natin ang mga malalaking planta, ang malalaking investor dito sa Pilipinas. Kaya naman po, masasabi ko naman, meron naman tayong masasabi na matagumpay naman po ang ating mga sinusubukan dahil trilyon-trilyon na po na piso ang pumapasok na investment dito sa Pilipinas. Kaya alam niyo po, may kinalaman po itong isang anak ng Batangas dito dahil alam niyo naman, Secretary of Finance natin po, si Secretary Ralph Recto. Ngunit hindi lang po para sa mga manggagawa. Marami na rin po tayong nasimulan. Inaayos na po natin ang ating agrikultura. Nakita naman po natin ang kalagayan ng ating mga magsasaka at ang mataas na presyo ng mga bilihin. Kaya't kailangan po natin ayusin. Ngunit, ang nadatnan po namin ay ang isang agrikultura na napakahina po. Ngayon, kaya't ginagawan po namin ang paraan. Mula po sa nakaraang 2 taon, nakapagpatayo na tayo ng 150 na rice processing plant. Sa taong 2025, magtatapos tayo ng 20 pa, magsisimula tayo ng 50 pa. Noong isang linggo, binuksan ko, inaugurate ko, ang una. Hindi nga ako, nagulat nga ako, sabi ko dito sa Pilipinas, dapat marami na ito. Ang unang coconut processing plant dito sa Pilipinas para naman ang ating mga coconut planters ay mabigyan natin ng pagkakataon na makipagkompetensya hindi lamang dito sa Pilipinas, kung hindi po sa abroad, sa international market.
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. over the weekend credited the Filipino people's dedication, talent, and patriotism as the country emerged as one of the fastest-growing economies in Asia. During the Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas rally in Lucena City, the president pointed out that the Philippines have surpassed bigger and richer countries due to Filipino workers' skill, ingenuity, diligence, and love of country. President Marcos highlighted the country's record low unemployment rate last year, the lowest in 2 decades. The Philippines posted a year-on-year gross domestic product or GDP growth of 5.2% in the fourth quarter of 2024, which brought last year's full-year GDP growth to 5.6%.
Napakasipag po ng Pilipino, napakahusay po ng Pilipino, napakabait po ng Pilipino. Kaya't maaasahan natin, basta't mabigyan natin ng pagkakataon upang magtrabaho ng mabuti, ang Pinoy naman, lagi naman nandyan. Kaya masaya po ako na maibalita sa inyo na nitong nakaraang taon, naitala natin ang pinakamababa na unemployment rate dito sa Pilipinas mula nung taon 2005. 20 taon na po, hindi po natin naabot yung ganyang klaseng unemployment rate. Maliwanag, ang ating mga kababayan ay naghahanap buhay sa dekalidad na trabaho. Trabahong may seguridad, trabaho na may dignidad at may pag-asa. Ay ayan po, kaya naman po, at patunay po sa magandang estado ng ekonomiya natin, dahil po siyempre inaalala natin lahat kung paano na ang lagay. Lahat naman tayo ay may pamilya, lahat naman tayo ay may anak, lahat naman tayo ay may mga mahal sa buhay na umaasa sa atin. Kaya mahirap po, kailangan po, maganda po ang hanap buhay na kahit papano ay mabigyan natin sila ng ganawa. Kaya naman po ay kami siguro, hingi na rin po ako ng paumanhin nyo na medyo nagyayabang po tayo na ang Pilipinas ngayon ay kinukonsidera ng ating mga karatig bansa. The Philippines is one of the fastest growing economies in Asia. Talo po natin yung mga malalaking bansa. Talo po natin yung mga mayayaman ng bansa. Ang paglalago po ng ekonomiya, sinisiguro po natin, may epekto ito sa pag-araw-araw ng buhay ng ating mga kababayan. Hindi po nangyari ito dahil sa akin po. Nangyari po ito dahil ang husay ng Pilipino, dahil ang galing ng Pilipino, dahil malaki ang pusong pagmamahal sa bansa ng Pilipinas ng ating mga mamamayan.
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s directive to cut interest rates on Social Security System or SSS calamity loans aims to ease Filipinos' financial burden and help reduce poverty. In a press briefing, Presidential Communications Office or PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said that the move of President Marcos is a clear message of hope for struggling Filipinos. The directive will take effect in July of 2025. Castro highlighted the positive impact of lowering SSS loan interest rates on ordinary Filipinos. The Palace Press Officer also emphasized that the presidential directive that all regional tripartite wages and productivity boards assess and update minimum wages in their jurisdictions to reflect regional economic conditions and cost of living factors will help ordinary Filipinos. In his Labor Day message, the President announced various measures to ease and assist ordinary Filipinos' daily difficulties. Castro also stressed the President's resolve to do what is feasible, and he is always open to dialogue.
Napakagandang pong balita niyan. Ito po ang nais po kasi ng Pangulo sa programang ito ay magkaroon po talaga ng poverty reduction. Kapag ka po nalaman natin na yung interest po ay bababa para sa mga kababayan natin na may kasalukuyang utang sa SSS, maganda pong balita yan. para po kahit po yung kanilang kinikita o yung kanilang konting savings para maibayad ay mababawasan yung kanilang pagbabayad sa kanilang mga utang dahil liliit po ang interest. So, yun po yung nais ng ating Pangulo at ito po'y para sa mga taong bayan para po kahit paano maibsan ang kanilang kahirapan o nararamdamang kahirapan sa kasalukuyan. Kaya muli sasabihin natin, hindi po talaga kulay itim ang bansa.
That was Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. spoke to Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim over the phone to discuss the economic and security issues confronting the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. The phone call was made ahead of Malaysia's hosting of the ASEAN Summit and related summits. Malaysia is this year's ASEAN chair, while the Philippines will take over the rotating chairmanship in 2026. In a Facebook post, the president said he hopes to have similar discussions with other ASEAN leaders during his participation in the upcoming summit in Malaysia this month. The 46th ASEAN Summit will be held in Kuala Lumpur on the 26th to the 27th of May. In a post on X, Anwar said he had shared several matters and developments related to ASEAN with President Marcos, including the Myanmar crisis as well as other global issues. Myanmar was supposed to host the ASEAN in 2026 but was not allowed to assume the chairmanship because of domestic issues faced by Naypyidaw, currently ruled by a military junta. Anwar said he had also informed President Marcos of Malaysia's position on the tariffs recently imposed by the United States. The Malaysian Prime Minister also expressed hope that the May 12 midterm elections in the Philippines would be successful.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Philippine government is ramping up its earthquake preparedness efforts by expanding its pool of trained emergency responders in anticipation of a possible magnitude 7.2 tremor along the West Valley Fault. Office of Civil Defense or OCD Chief Undersecretary Ariel Nepomuceno underscored the urgent need to prepare for the so-called Big One, which experts warn could severely impact Metro Manila. During the Security Bank's first quarter 2025 town hall over the weekend, Nepomuceno said the most effective way to save lives is to start preparing today. Nepomuceno highlighted three main areas for action: infrastructure resilience, public education, and bolstering response capacity. Undersecretary Nepomuceno said compliance with the National Building Code is non-negotiable, stressing that buildings must be designed to withstand a magnitude 8.5 earthquake. To support this, the OCD is working with the Department of Trade and Industry or DTI and private sector engineers to upgrade construction standards, particularly focusing on steel reinforcement bars and eliminate substandard imports that threaten safety. He also reiterated the need to avoid construction in high-risk areas such as fault lines and landslide-prone zones. Nepomuceno also urged the public to learn the basic yet critical survival technique of duck, cover, and hold, which he said could save lives during the first moments of an earthquake. The OCD chief acknowledged the country's limited resources compared to more prepared nations like Japan, which has over 12,000 highly trained earthquake responders. The Philippines has far fewer. To bridge the gap, the OCD is partnering with the Armed Forces, Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, Coast Guard, Red Cross, and other agencies to increase the number of trained personnel. Collaboration also extends to the National Service Reserve Corps, student volunteers from the National Service Training Program, and private groups such as the Philippine Disaster Resilience Foundation and Arise Philippines.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the Philippine Embassy in Washington, D.C. on Saturday said a high-level economic delegation from the Philippines met and had productive and positive talks with United States Trade Representative Jamieson Greer in Washington, D.C. on May 2nd. The meeting comes as the Philippine government seeks to negotiate the paused 17% reciprocal tariff imposed on the country by U.S. President Donald Trump. Philippine Ambassador to U.S. Jose Manuel Romualdez declined to discuss further details about the talks but said Manila hopes to close a deal beneficial to both countries. The Philippine delegation was led by Special Assistant to the President for Investment and Economic Affairs Frederick Go, Trade Secretary Cristina Aldeguer Roque, and Romualdez. Both sides expressed optimism about the future of the Philippine-U.S. trade and investment relations, especially in the context of economic security and fair, balanced, and reciprocal trade. The embassy said both sides welcomed the positive outcome of the discussions and underscored the importance of an economically and strategically strong partnership between the two states. Before the meeting, Roque was quoted as saying that Manila aims to bring down the tariff rate on Philippine goods down to zero tariff. Trump announced a 90-day pause on the higher reciprocal tariffs the U.S. imposed on most countries on April 9th, but the blanket 10% duty on all its trading partners remains.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.